Well, this is our Christmas show, and Bing and Bob aren't here, and if you're under 30, you don't understand that. Let's start off with the big topic today, don't ask, don't tell. I think that I invented that in the 60s, whenever my sister was looking for, Santa Claus, and I said, listen, if you find anything out, don't ask, don't tell. But seriously, we've been living with this for a couple of decades. It's over with. Now, here's some of the reaction from Oklahoma legislators. Let's have a look at this real quick.
If you're in a foxhole, and you're waiting, and these bullets are coming over you, and you're hoping that the person next to you is there to fight the battle right along with you, not what their sexual orientation is. That makes no difference.
You hear a lot of people ask, what impact will it have? But no one is saying, how does this make our military more capable, more efficient, more beneficial?
It's Al McCaffrey, State Representative Al McCaffrey, openly gay, a well-respected member of the Oklahoma State Legislature, and, of course, Senator Steve Russell, whose unit served in Iraq. They're the ones that got Saddam. Let me start with you, Colby. Is the timing of this suspect, should we have done this now? Should we wait until January? And should we have done it at all?
I'm going to say no. I don't think we should have done it now for sure. And the reason is we have this lame duck Congress now that is going to start shoving through policy that most Americans don't agree with. And I say that it's real simple because most Americans went to the ballot box in November and made a very decisive change in the direction of this country. They pushed back on the White House and they said we want something different, and it's not the Democrats, it's not the left. That's where I see this, more of that agenda, and this is what's fearful. We've heard it this week, and we're going to talk about it in a minute with tax cuts and an extension of unemployment. But we're seeing what we always see with the lame duck Congress. They're trying to get all they can as quickly as they can.
They probably could have done it in January. My question to you is, Richard, was this something the president had to have? Because basically gays are the last constituency he hasn't irritated this year.
This has been something that's been discussed for a long time in Washington. 2 federal courts already threw out this business of no gays in the military. It would be my hope, Colby, that anybody that had the patriotic duty to want to sign up for the military, that the military is big enough and professional enough to accept people to defend this country. As far as what Colby said about the lame duck session, what on God's earth does this have to do with the gays in the military? As usual, my friends on the right want to politicize everything, and John McCain, by the way, changed his mind, and now he's for doing away with the ban on don't ask, don't tell.
Okay, can I bring up some of your favorite presidents?
Sure.
Okay. 1988, a president stood in front of American people, wagged his finger in their face, and said, "Read my lips, no new taxes." 2 years later, he stood in front of American people and said, "New taxes." Okay? This president has said to Americans, "Well, I'm not going to extend those Bush cuts. I'm not going to give the billionaires their tax breaks." That's what he did yesterday. How bad is Barack Obama hurt with the Democrats?
Absolutely, he's not hurt at all, as a matter of fact. You know what? It's amazing. Yesterday, I opened up the newspaper, and who do I see standing right next to the president is Mitch McConnell, the Republican leader of the Senate. This is the guy of the party of no. The Republicans in Washington, all they've ever done is not cooperate. No, no, no. They don't want to govern. They just want to protect millionaires and billionaires. They'd rather protect their own party's interest than be partners in governing this country. What the president did is buy time, because the man from Ohio was coming in. These folks are going to realize that governing is a whole lot more difficult, like Obama did, than running for office.
Yeah, but who wasn't standing by the president yesterday? Harry Reid and Nancy Pelosi as he signs the extension of those Bush tax cuts. What does that mean?
Well, and to Richard's point, governing is a lot more difficult than actually running for office. Because when you go out there and run for office, you can just about say anything you want. When you get in and you have all the facts before you, then you understand you have a responsibility that is incumbent upon you to govern. And that does take a little more. No, we're seeing the same thing with Obama reversing the course, like we saw with Bush Sr. So, I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid aren't there because they don't believe really in anything in tax relief. I think we've seen that by the past 2 years in policy.
By the way, George H.W. Bush is father of...
George
W. Bush.
George H.W. wasn't a bad president. His son should have listened to him a lot more.
That's right, and your president in '92 agreed with that. Now, let me ask you this. We just saw this big happening in Oklahoma City School District where they've gone to this continuous year. I got to tell you, I don't understand it. But you're from western Oklahoma County and also Canadian County. How does this going to affect schools and school reform, and our education reform? After all, 744 went down in flames. Educators think they've got a lump of coal. Where do we go from here?
Well, to your point, I think you're going to have a very difficult time in this change when you get to areas that have any type of rural background, even though where I come from, Yukon is it's exploded, it's a big population now, it's not a small town, but we still have a thriving agricultural program for the children in the school. So I'm going to tell you, those areas, the Guthries, the Yukons, the Mustangs, where you still have a strong FFA program, you're going to have a hard time changing the schedule because it'll affect kids getting out of school in harvest come June.
You think this is a good deal to go to this continuous longer school year?
Well, you know, I don't know. I'm not an educator, but what I'm hearing from the members of the Oklahoma City School Board is that they had to take drastic action. You know, the school board and the State Board of Education tells us that 75% of the kids in Oklahoma City are graduating. That is not true. Less than 1 in 2 are graduating in Oklahoma City. This was a bold, daring move. They found out through these studies that the long break in the summertime, they spend a month in September trying to get kids back to where they were before they left. I don't know. It's a new idea. Let's see. I know it's going to be dramatic for a lot of the parents, but the board is finally paying attention to the needs of the children.
All right, 2010 is coming up. We're getting to the coming up to the end of 2010. In politics, I ask you both: who's on the naughty list? Who's on the nice list for 2010?
Well, the naughty list starts with the Supreme Court of the United States with their decision in Citizens United, where they absolutely broke it. They always talk about constitutional fundamentalists. This court went way off the charts as far as a Merry Christmas for people that have done great things, the Thunder for their charity, and the pastor yesterday that gave away $20,000 in gasoline to people yesterday morning. So he gets great
good people out there. Who's naughty? Who's nice?
Well, you know, you just jogged my memory. I'm going to tell you the OEA should probably get a lump of coal for sure. And the reason is trying to shove down reforms down Oklahoma's throats that they don't want and that people push back. Nice list, easily. Mary Fallin, she's going to change the state, move us in the right direction, and the first woman governor.
Thank you, guys. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. Back to you.